Hello and welcome. I'm Carol Ingram and I'm one of the Sulky Design Team. And today I brought you a really wonderful project that's featured in our Dimensional Concepts book, along with many other really wonderful projects. Today the project is called Illusionary Bars. And Illusionary Bars is a technique that we've done for a long time, and you can use the illusionary bars for many projects, such as the garment that I'm wearing, or we can use it for home deck, or we can make pillows, or like the tote bag that we have here on my right. So in order to start this project, we have to select our fabrics. Now in front of you, I have a table runner that's done with two different fabrics. And as you can see, the top fabric has roses on it, and the bottom fabric is a polka dot. And on the back side, you can see that there's two different kinds of polka dots. So the object of this is to cut strips, separate the strips by a margin of 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever your desire is, and expose the fabric that's underneath, which creates an illusion. Once you've done that, then it creates the base for you to embellish it further with either machine embroidery, free motion appliqué, or just a standard appliqué as we do have on our table runner. The table runner has added feature of being quilted with our wonderful metallic threads and our hollow shimmer threads. And these hollow shimmer threads come in a multitude of colors. As we know, the hollow shimmer thread is flat. It comes with a flip cap that flips open, and it allows you to unwind your thread and control it. Now that's a really great feature, and they should have thought about this many years ago. You just pop the tap back and away we go. Our original metallics, our cottons, and our beautiful rayons are done the same way. So what I would like to do is start showing you exactly how we go step by step. I have some small samples here of the steps so that you can get an idea of how we're going. We're going to need a fusible, paperback fusible web, and we're going to need a feature fabric, and then we're going to have our background fabric. This background fabric is a denim, and I've chosen the theme of celestial, and I've taken one piece of fabric. I've applied the fusible web to the back with an iron. Next I'm going to choose because this is a garment, I'm going to choose a pattern of my choice. This is the front of the dress pattern like I have on. I'm going to lay the pattern down and use a pin and mark around the outside edge to show where my pattern is going to be cut. So that is step one. So then I have to decide how I want the stripes to go, in what fashion. The stripes may want to be something that I want to be more appealing to my body type. You may want to put it at an angle, vertically for more slenderizing, but that's going to be up to you. I'm going to use a chalk marker and a ruler. Take my chalk marker, and I'm going to mark my lines in the direction that I want it to go. As you can see, I have a two-way direction here, which gives it a little more design. These are a 1/2 inch apart. These lines are 1/2 inch apart because when I place my bar, that's going to allow for the 1/4 inch between. When I place the bar here, the bar is 1/4 inch. Place the bar here, that'll leave a 1/2 inch exposed. Once I've done step 2, then I'm going to go over to my cutting board, and I'm going to go to my fabric that I've applied the fusible web to the back. I think I need to go this way because I'll get it in the right angle. All right, as you can see, I've already cut 2 bars, and I've left them attached at the back, at the bottom here. I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to measure over 1/4 inch, and I'm going to cut, but I'm not going to cut all the way down to this end. I'm going to leave a 1/2 inch like so. I need to close this every time for safety's sake because somebody may come along and want to get a hold of that. Okay, now I have 3 bars. And look, I'm going to have a grass skirt. The paper is still on, and this is a very important step because when you pull the paper off, the fusible web wants to stick to itself, so it leaves you control if you leave the paper on the back side. And this is my grass skirt, and it's all in place for me. All of my pattern is still remaining so that I can follow along and I won't ever get lost. Now, if the phone rings, or if I decide that I want to quit this and come back a month from now, I still know where my place was. So then, after I've marked all of my lines in the pattern that I want it to go, then I'm going to have to place it onto the front of my garment where my pattern is. And what I'm going to do is cut the first strip and leave all the rest of these intact. Then I can come down and I can place my strip where it goes, and I can match up where the strips, where I match up my patterns. So what I'll do is I will pull the back off. I will line it up, and I will press it and cut it off. Now, it doesn't matter if all of these extend over the outside of my pattern, because when I come back and cut out my pattern so that I can stitch up my seams, all of that excess will be trimmed off. But I will know that my pattern on my designer fabric is lined up, just like these faces are and this clock face here is. So once my front is covered like I want it, and then I can do the same to the back, and I can do down the bottom like the dress that I have on. I've done all the way down to the bottom. Then it's time for embellishing. At this point, there's several things that you can do. Now, the tote bag that I have on my right, the fabric on the underneath is actually the illusion fabric that shows through the bars, and I have done no outside embellishment other than thread work. On the step that I have in front of me, I've also used the gold metallic thread, original metallic, and I've done just a simple stipple stitch across the bars. But as the dress that I have on is done automatic machine embroidery, and the dress behind me with the strawberries, that one was done by a free motion embroidery where you could make your own applique yourself. And the table runner that's in front of me is a typical applique stitched around the outside edge. That applique also was done with a fusible web on the back, and we just cut out the leaves, ironed them on, and stitched around them. Today, I'd like to show you a couple of stabilizers. One of the stabilizers is a product called Sticky. Sulky Sticky is a wonderful stabilizer because it has a release sheet on it, and if you have a garment that has a place on it that you want to do an embroidery and you can't get it in the hoop, like maybe there's a thick collar or a cuff that you want to embroidery on, then you're going to choose Sticky, because Sticky has a release sheet. You're going to cut it, and isn't this a wonderful clamshell, the way that this comes packaged. It opens up like so. It has all the instructions on the inside. The instructions can stay right on the inside. The label is right in front, and you can have it in your drawer hanging on the wall, and you always know what you have. So what I've done is I've cut a piece of Sticky, and I've put it in my machine embroidery hoop. I'm going to take a pin, and I'm going to score across